Dear ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Afro Political Communications. Welcome to Afro Political Communications, the only one, number one, to give you the truth about the world and politics, as well as leaders we have today. Today we are going to talk about self-enrichment of African leaders stealing money. Today we are going to talk about self-enrichment, African leaders self-enrichment and stealing money, stealing taxpayers' money. African leaders, they have left power with huge amount of money, very rich. Their families, generation and generation, they eat that money. But they live, why these leaders leave their people in poverty? Always we depend on aid. Why African leaders, they leave their people in poverty, absolute poverty. In fact, absolute poverty. But they leave power with huge amount of money in their bank account. Today we are going to talk about President Bingu Mutharika of Malawi. He left power, he died. In fact, he did not left power, but the time he died last year, after 80 years in power, he left 61 billion plus 61 billion Malawian kwacha. 61 billion, 80 years. That's why I'm in African style today. I'm talking about Africa. Why African leaders, they are stealing money? Why are they stealing money? Do we vote them? Do we put them to power to steal and enrich their families and leave Africa poor? Let me see it properly. Why African leaders steal money and leave their people poor? We depend on the West, it is known. If we do not depend on the West, we're going to depend on China. Why do they leave their people poor always? But they leave their money pass. I don't have my money pass here. They leave their money pass full of dollar. Bingu Mutharika of Malawi, President Bingu Mutharika of Malawi, the late Bingu Mutharika, he died instantly. God took his life from his office. The Malawian Anti-Corruption Bureau and the government of Malawi of President Joyce Banda, they went in his office. They went in the State House, Ndata Farm. They went at the Sanja Palace in Malawi Lilongwe, and they found there bags of American dollar. But this president, even today, in Malawi, you are not allowed to use American dollar. You are not allowed any bank to use American dollar in Malawi. Bingu Mutharika, Ngwazi, Bingu Mutharika, his account was found 61 billion plus a lot of million in his house, Sanjika, in his State House, Sanjika Palace, Lilongwe. But Malawi is the poorest country in the world. They eat mice. He promised them fertilizer, maize, always say that njala, feminine, njala. Tindikira pangono, mutindikire pangono Malawi, tindikire pangono ndalama nizambiri. He left his people in absolute poverty, but his account was 61 billion. Today I have come to talk about What type of this behavior African leaders to steal? Why do they steal, but they put people who have just stolen 100 kwacha, $100, and they sent him to jail for 100, maybe 20 years. Even in Rwanda, even in Uganda, even in Mozambique, even Congo, President Kabila right now, Kabila Jr. is one of the richest billionaires today in Africa. Number 4, number 5 around. Kabila, the younger Kabila. Where do they get this money? Have you ever asked yourself in this screen where these people get money? Where these criminal, the criminal number 1, get this money? From there they said the aid. Tufuna ndarama, we want money. President Salva Kiir of Sudan is a millionaire. He is a millionaire. American dollar, about $11 million. President Salva Kiir. He has spent to power, I think 2 years, 3 years. He is a millionaire, about 10 or 11 million. Salva Kiir is a millionaire today. President Museveni of Uganda is a millionaire. He has spent in power 28 years. He is a millionaire. He has estates in Sweden. He has estates in Uganda. He has estates in different countries. Money. Where do they get this money? Mobutu, President Mobutu Seseko, kuku wa Zabanga. President Mobutu, kuku wa Zabanga of Congo. He left estates in South Africa, Queen's Towers in South Africa, free. They are now houses for refugees. Why didn't he construct these houses in Congo? I ask you, how many houses did President Abraham Lincoln of the United States left in exile? How many houses or estates or money, cash money, did President Ronald Reagan, President John F. Kennedy, these people left outside? How many accounts? How many accounts? Tell me. Afro Political Communications. We look into the State House everywhere and we give you the fact which you don't know. We are talking about why African leaders steal money and they leave their people in poverty. They leave Africa in dependence. Dead aid. We have written a lot of books complaining about this unethical leadership behavior. Unethical leadership behavior. They ask money from Canada, they ask money from America, they ask money from China, they ask money even in Cuba. They ask money from Belgium. What are they doing in power? Stealing money and they put on their account. President Robert Mugabe of Zimbabwe. President Robert Mugabe of Zimbabwe. He has a lot of accounts in Malaysia. Malaysia. Mugabe keep his money in Malaysia. We know his children, they study in Malaysia universities. Some of his wealth were kept confiscated in America, in United Kingdom. But today we are going to look at Malawi. President Joyce Banda of Malawi today, she said that she lost a lot of money just within a month. But today let us look at Bingu Mutharika. Here you go. Number 1. Malawi paper exposes Bingu Mutharika's 61 billion wealth net worth. And this is not the real statistics. Some of they could not manage to bring all together the actual amount. What Afro Political Consultant wants to tell you today, that recently Malawi, the government of Malawi went to search Bingu Mutharika's Nsanji house, State House. They found a lot of money. Some they were even falling down. American dollar full of bags. Where do they get this money? Bingu Mutharika has what we call the trust family estate. Ndata farm. He constructed mausoleum for his wife, about 50 million cash down for his wife who died recently. This leader I'm talking about, he spent in power only 8 years. What about Museveni, who has spent in power 28 years? Mobutu, all the money he left were taken by the Western countries. And the stupidity of this leader, the mental stupidity of this leader, they are very stupid people. I'm sorry to say that. Even a young African like me, I cannot keep my money in the Western bank. I can't hide my money in America. Because I know the Americans, they're going to take this money. Because I know the British, they are going to take this money. Because I know the Westerners, they are going to take this money. Because I know the Chinese, they will take my money. But the stupidity of these leaders, they steal money from African bank and they keep them in America. They keep the money in China, they keep money in Britain, they keep money in their enemies. This is the stupidity of African leaders. They steal money and they keep money in the banks of their enemies. This is what I have come today to give them medicine. Number 1, Muzuzu Mara Post. Former Malawi President Bingu Mutharika has had several bank accounts in both local and foreign countries. Some of his money, which is part of 61 billion estate, kept in Daily Times, reported on Monday. Malawi Daily Times is a government newspaper. They revealed part of Bingu Mutharika's wealth, 61 billion, were on his account. Not assets, but on the account, money. Malawi is the poorest country in the world. Bingu Mutharika spent only 8 years in power. How did he come to power? He was nominated by his best friend Bakir Muruzi, whom he disappointed and turned against him. Bingu, when he was coming to power, he declared 150 million. But at the time he lost power, he died. His account was found 61 billion. Obama, the president of the United States, I think he has only $1 million. That's what he declared recently. How many money? Bill Clinton, how many money, just the amount of money that Tony Blair, Nicolas Sarkozy, have they kept in Africa? Gaddafi, the president of Libya, the former leader, Colonel Gaddafi, he left trillions of dollars in foreign banks. They were taken. When they keep this money in foreign banks, the Western or Asian banks reveal that now they have huge amount of money. They plan against their downfall and they don't return this money back to Africa. This is the stupidity, mental. They steal, they keep in foreign countries. They put on neckties and they come in public that we want votes. President Teodoro Obiang Nguema, his first son, Nguema Teodoro, he bought the properties of Michael Jackson. Prior to his death, this is what they say, that prior to his death he left $61 billion. Yeremia Chihana, YMW, Malawi Properties Investment, and the government revealed that Bingu Mutharika left this amount of money, but his people, they're even still suffering. And they said that this is a very, very, very small amount of money on the account, according to their expectation. This is too small. Now, he had several bank accounts in different countries. In United States, he had bank accounts. In United Kingdom, he had bank accounts. In Switzerland, he had bank accounts. In Chartered Bank of Zimbabwe, he had accounts there. In New Jersey, United States, he had accounts there. Why do they steal money and they keep them in exile? Let me drink water. Bingu Mutharika. First Merchant Bank. Dr. Bingu Mutharika account number. This is fact, statistics. Bingu Silver Grey Foundation accounting number. Silver Grey Foundation accounting number. Ndata Farm. Bingu Mutharika's just investment accounting number. Bineth Enterprises accounting number. Bineth Enterprises was Bingu Mutharika's business. Bineth Enterprises accounting number. Bineth Education Fund accounting number. Look, stealing money, leaving their people in poverty. The University of Southern Malawi accounting number. All these Bingu Mutharika's money, keeping them in exile. We revealed them, included the total balance added certificate. Some of the property comes from $61.3 billion. Billion kwacha. Mutharika, he served only 8 years in power. Bingu Mutharika amassed wealth 61 in 8 years. Why after they steal money and they leave their people in poverty? This is what we mean. 2. This is what Malawi. This is only Malawi. Now, let us see Nelson Mandela, former president of South Africa. Nelson Mandela, former president of South Africa. South Africa is the richest country in Africa and one of the middle class income in the world. The great Nelson Mandela, he left only about 46 million land, around $1 or $2 million. $2 million, which is normal money. Chameleon in Uganda is a local musician. He has around 1 million. And many, just that is an example. Peasant, local peasants, they have this money. Mandela left $2 million. Local people. He died as a local person, but a president from the giant nation. President from one of the biggest nation in the world, richest. Yes, let me just maybe I'm gonna give you another example. Yes. Okay. Okay. Mandela himself. And he distributed all his properties to the families, all of them. But Bingu Mutharika, that's what we are saying. That Bingu Mutharika, he left 61 billion. Mandela, he distributed all his properties, about 41 or 46 million, 46 million rand, South African, about $2.5 million. Okay. Yes. Okay, thank you very much. I was talking to one of my reporters from Malawi and South Africa. He has informed me that Malawi itself, Bingu left nothing there apart from his money he left in the banks. He left all his estate to only 4 children. They are going to die as also millionaires. This is what we talk about, that African leaders, they really contribute nothing apart from stealing and organizing conflicts all the time. Let us see, my friend also calling me. Hello? How are you, brother? You are my correspondent from Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo. How many amount of money do you think President Kabila owns in the account? Billions. What about President of Central African Republic? What about Omar Bongo? He died as a millionaire. What about Sani Abacha of Nigeria? Former president of Nigeria, Sani Abacha. He was a millionaire. And what about the president of former president of Egypt, Mubarak? Millionaire. Where do they get this money? Okay, thank you. Africa can also confirm that these people, we gave them power, we vote them, we bring them to power, but their role is to steal money. And from there, they appeal to the international community, assistance. But when you check into their accounts, they take the money, they use the aid which they gave them into the... Tell me, how many investments President of Uganda own? How many industries in Uganda? Road construction companies. How many enterprises does he own? That is source of income. This is what I wanted to talk to you today, that President Bingu Mutharika, he left his country the poorest in the world, but the rich, one of the richest today in Africa. You know what Gaddafi did? Gaddafi of Libya, he had money everywhere. But why do they get this money and they leave their people in absolute poverty? This is what we are asking today. We have shown you the picture which is in Africa, that the aid which is given to Africa and is in the pocket of these people. In Uganda, for example, last year President Museveni, his job was to put corrupt ministers in jail. his job last year, he was just only arresting corruption charges, people who have stole money from the government fund, Gavi, government aid to fight malaria. It was taken. Chogam Commonwealth money was eaten by the former president and others. Amama Mbabazi, Bokenya, who was the vice president, Amama Mbabazi now is the prime minister. They divided the money given to the Commonwealth head of state, and Museveni put some of them in prison. What type of behavior? ESCO profession. Why do we use that hand in African politics? Afro Political Communications. We are just giving you a simple insight about how African leaders enrich themselves through state funds, taxpayers' money. When people complain, they bring the gun and shoot. President Teodoro Obianga Nguema, his accounts there in the United States, his estates, Britain, everywhere. Kabila, Junior, millionaire. We also hear that President Paul Kagame of Rwanda, although he is fighting genocide, but he is a millionaire. He keeps his money in Britain, his estate. We know. We don't interest in money, but the ESCO behavior. Where are we taking Africa if we are just following the routes of stealing and keeping to our personal account? Is it the same thing that the Western nations do today? Look at Obama. How many amount of money does he make on his account? But Salva Kiir, who has just come to power, is richer than President Barack Obama of the United States. He's richer than Tony Blair. Salva Kiir, one person, he's richer than Nicolas Sarkozy of France. Why don't we have empathy, transparency, accountability? We need the accountability how the African leaders make money. The laws of African state does not concern about leaders when they are still in power. People, they are dying in malaria, HIV, AIDS in Malawi. People are dying HIV, AIDS and malaria. Famine, number one. But a leader himself has 61 billion. Is it legitimate? Joyce Banda was asked, how much money do you have on your account? She said it has been already declared. Museveni of Uganda, President Museveni, blood. He was asked, how much money do you have on your account? He said, I only have border, motorcycle. I don't have anything. Where do they get money? Who gave them this money? Where is their investment? How was they look like before they came to power? We are looking for the accountability of President Africa. Why do they enrich themselves? Have you ever asked these leaders, why do they steal? and they leave their people in poverty, absolute poverty. Right away from 1950s, 1960s, Africa is still in its current place, status, current position. No transformation, no development, even the little development we see, every development which is in Africa, there is 50% or 20%, 25% from the donors, or 50% from the donors, 50% from taxpayers. But every expenditure, money which is going out, 50% goes in the pocket of these leaders, 50% goes to the public services. President Robert Mugabe is a millionaire. Hey, Jomo Kenyatta, Uhuru Kenyatta. No, Jomo Kenyatta. Jomo Kenyatta in the 1960s, the British returned back all the properties they owned for Kenyan people before they grant independence to Kenya. They said like this: all the land, the money and everything left to Kenya should be distributed to Kenyan people, returned back to the Kenyan people. Uhuru Kenyatta, he took all the properties left by the British colonial masters and put them, changed into his own pocket. He changed into his own personal account. Right now, the Uhuru Kenyatta family own almost 1/3 of Kenyan land. 1/3 of Kenyan land belongs to Uhuru Kenyatta family. Uhuru Kenyatta family, they own everything in Kenya. K2 television, Africa Bank, radios, construction company, farms, everything belongs to Uhuru Kenyatta family. Uhuru Kenyatta, this young Uhuru Kenyatta, he has around $500 million. $500 million. Uhuru Kenyatta. Uhuru Kenyatta. Billionaire in Africa. I think number 4 richest. Where do they get this money? People die poverty, malaria, health care no, education poor, development poor, but leaders, they are millionaires. I don't know how much money Sun Yat-sen he left in China. I don't know how much money Mao Zedong he left in China. I don't know. I don't know how much money Fidel Castro he left in Africa. Why do African leaders steal? This is what we have been talking about today. We shall come back tomorrow or another day by talking about another country. But today our focus was about Malawi, about President Bingu Mutharika only. Only. Even Bakir Muruz of Malawi, he was accused by former President Bingu Mutharika for diverting 1 billion Malawi kwacha into his account. It was for aid, and he diverted it into his personal account. But this was 1 billion. But this man who spent only 8 years in power, he diverted 61 billion into his own account. Time was 60. Africans, this is the time to wake up. This is the time, you African people, to change your mindset. Otherwise, you are going to die poor. You Africans, you live in poor, you live in poverty, you live in diseases, you live in poor health care until you wake up. African people, until you wake up and know what should be done, what type of leaders are we put in power, you're gonna die like nothing. You live like the way you live today. Because you vote, you bring leaders based on personal interest, but unethical. Some leaders, they call themselves generals because they came with the liberation war. When you comment, you complain about anything, they want to shoot you down. But why do they steal? Today I have been talking about self-enrichment of African leaders, stealing government money and put into their personal accounts in exile. But when they leave power, the money taken by those countries, instead of benefiting for Africa, by chance sometimes benefit for their families in Africa. But when they leave power, some of them, their money is taken in exile. Afro Political Communications, we always say the truth. We always communicate the truth. We do not care about death, but we speak the truth. You disseminate the message. We answer the questions. Today we have been talking about President Bingu Mutharika stealing money. President Mobutu Sese Seko Kuku wa Zabanga. Mobutu Sese Seko Kuku wa Zabanga. Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo. And then we have talked about President Kabila Jr. of Congo. Millionaire, billionaire. He came to power recently. He was a DJ in Uganda. He was a DJ in Uganda, a musician, a DJ in Uganda with the Rasta robe. But today, when he took power after the death of his father, he became a billionaire. A billionaire. President Barack Obama is not known, even American wealthy people. He is not known. John Kerry, he showed his wealth. Obama showed little money, and that is what he had on his account. Mandela died with a little amount of money, $2 million. Make this money from his own properties, selling books and other things. That was the situation. I have left you Africans to think. Call international community. I call about United Nations, World Bank, IMF, United States of America, Britain, France, Germany, Switzerland, Norway, Spain, Denmark, Sweden, these countries which donor money to Africa to put their padlock, never to give them any leader in Africa single money until they show them where they get this money they are using. never, never, never and never again to donate in Africa before leaders show you where they get money, how they use the accountability to spend the money they are given. Never. World Bank, United Nations, UNHCR, any organization and any government do not give any leader in Africa single money until they show where, how, and to whom they spend the money, the aid, and how do they acquire the net worth in security banks. How do they acquire them? Afro Political Communications. We are here to make leaders to change the world. That is our job. We are here to change the world. That is our own job. Stealing money, keep them in account, enrich the families, but they leave Africa poor. For example, African Union multi-millionaire, it is a donation from China. Donation from China. When will you get out of debt and donation? It's donation and debt. That's the only thing you hear in Africa. Donation, debt. Recently, the African countries, they started, I've forgotten to mention Canada. Do not give Canada, don't give any single money to Africa before they show you the accountability and the spending of this aid is given. Thank you so much.